Welcome back. After months of work and millions of taxpayer dollars, Congress has finally tracked down the guys who hooked up Hillary's server. Happened yesterday, and then this happened. Watch.
Did you produce your immunity agreement this morning as required under the subpoena?
On advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer and assert my Fifth Amendment privilege.
You can't answer the question about whether or not you were interviewed by the FBI?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline.
And it went on like that, and on, and on. Our own Catherine Harris also didn't have much luck after the hearing. Watch this.
Why did you take the Fifth today during the hearing? When you take the Fifth 10 times before a congressional hearing, when you take the Fifth 10 times before a congressional hearing, you leave the impression that you fear criminal prosecution.
Well, here with his reaction to how things went is the man at the center of it all, House Oversight Committee Chairman, Utah Congressman Jason Chaffetz. Mr. Chairman, it's good to see you this morning. So how frustrated were you in your inability to get any answer at all from any of these guys?
Well, first of all, we have a duly issued subpoena, and we had Mr. Pagliano choose to not show up. Guess what? This ain't an optional exercise. When you have a subpoena issued, if it happened to anybody else in the world, do you think you'd be in jail or put to have some handcuffs on you? Well, I mean, they got to show up. The two people who came, they have a constitutional right to exercise their Fifth Amendment rights. But let's remember, you have an administration who says they're not going to prosecute anybody. We believe that one of those people has an immunity agreement in place. So you'd think they'd sing like songbirds and do the right thing for the country. But no, they pled the Fifth.
Well, so you're in a leadership position in a co-equal branch of government, of course. What are you going to do about it?
Well, you know, we don't prosecute people. They don't give us handcuffs, but there are things at our disposal that we can do. And in the next, couple days, later today, we're going to explore those options. But we're going to continue to pursue this. We did have Mr. Cooper, and we appreciate him coming and testifying and answering questions. He illuminated things for us, but there's a lot of other people we still need to talk to.
So you're referring to Justin Cooper. He's a longtime aide to Bill Clinton.
Yes.
I don't know if you found this funny. You were there, but as a viewer, I confess I did. Here's a pretty hilarious exchange.
No, it was not in any way to destroy or hide any information at all. I couldn't speak to whether there were records on there that needed to be or should be considered federal records. In fact, the opposite would be the case, in that I was going out of my way to preserve all of the information that was on those devices.
Did you have a security clearance at that time?
No, I did not have a security clearance.
So the context is he's telling you that he was going out of his way to preserve information by smashing these devices with a hammer. Do you think that's a plausible explanation?
On its face? Are you kidding me? We're trying to preserve all the information, so we smashed it with a hammer.
Is that how you back up your devices, with a hammer?
It's what you do when you don't want anybody else to see it. What's scary, though, on a serious note, what's scary about this, he's one of two people tasked with setting this up. We did demonstrate that Uma Abedin, despite what she told the FBI, he's testifying that she was well aware of this server, that what she said in the FBI report is absolutely not true. But here he is with no IT experience, no security clearance, and he's setting up the server that the Secretary of State to the United States of America uses for 4 years. He has unfettered access to it to the entire time, and he has no security clearance. I mean, this is... I can't believe they allowed that to continue.
So in normal life, I mean, this has been said a lot, but I don't think it can be said enough. If these weren't people who worked for Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama, some of them would be in real trouble, would they not?
To have the FBI come to the conclusion, the Department of Justice, that nobody did anything wrong to the point that they can prosecute them. There are millions of people in our military and in other settings who have actually dealt with classified information. And they know, we know, the world knows, the country knows, you can't allow access to classified information to people who have no security clearance. And that was the person who set this stuff up. So it's the Chinese and the Russians against a guy who has no security clearance. There was no encryption. There was no dual authentication. There was no protection of all of this information at the highest level of security in our government.
The more you know, the more bewildering it is. Congressman Jason Chaffetz of Utah. Mr. Chairman, great to see you this morning. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thanks, Darren.